Good morning, all of you, TYBSc Physics student. We have to see here our subject is the solid state physics. We want to continue here the second chapter, which is X-ray diffraction and other characterization technique. The summary of the last lecture, we have to see here the point of the what is the Bragg's diffraction condition or what is the Bragg's diffraction law, Bragg's law and Bragg's diffraction condition and Bragg's law in the reciprocal lattice, and the main condition which is Bragg's law, which is obtained 2d sin theta is equal to n lambda, where lambda is the wavelength of the X-ray, d is the interplanar distance, and according to this condition we have to find out here the wavelength of the X-ray or interplanar distance of the crystal. So that point we have to already seen in the last lecture. In this lecture we want to see here the new point, which is the evolved construction. If this see in the figure, so general idea we have to see that here the incident and reflected X-ray beam, which is separated by the angular separation of the angle 2 theta, and this that the center point of the O, there the angular separation of the angle 2 theta it is denoted, and in this procedure the reciprocal points which is shown in figure. So how the idea of this evolved construction which is shown here. So first method, which is the select of the direction of the propagation, that the incident wave vector k, and that wave vector k which is denoted by the separation distance of O, point O to A. This is the wave vector, that is k bar, and terminate this is on point of the lattice point, that is say O and point A. So that point O which is the origin of the k, and we have construct this a sphere, that the reciprocal lattice with space, that is considered as the radius OA having the center O. And if you see in this figure that k prime bar which is also a wave vector, and g bar which is called as the reciprocal lattice vector, and this dot point which is considered as the reciprocal lattice point. And if you see that the magnitude of the wave number k and k prime which is are equal, so that's why in last lecture we have to see that the condition mod of k bar is equal to mod of k bar prime, and if the vector k bar prime which is also lie in the somewhere on the surface of the sphere, so that the k bar prime which is lie at the point B, which is see in the figure at this O to B, so that is the vector of k bar prime. And according to the condition, so that k bar prime and k which is are the join, then we get the vector or resultant vector which is considered as the reciprocal lattice vector, and according to this formula we have to get the relation k bar prime is equal to k bar plus g bar. And let us show here the k bar prime which is the relation qualifies to the possible Bragg's reflected wave vector. And if you see in the figure, so that segment OA, that is origin to that point A which is considered as the radius of this sphere, so that is equal to or segment of OB which is see in the figure this evolved construction. And if this, so that see in the figure that triangle OAB, okay, see in this figure that triangle OAB which is considered as the isosceles triangle, and this triangle property, that angle which is considered as angle OAB which is equal to the angle OBA, so that is in this isosceles triangle, that is OAB and OBA both are angle which is same, and you have to know that the that angular separation of the distance, that is angle which is considered as the O point, which is 2 theta. So that's both angle which is also same, that is 2 theta and 2 phi, and that is equal to pi. So this is the property of the isosceles triangle. And if you 2 theta plus 2 phi is equal to pi, so theta and phi as it is, so that 2 is taken common outside and which is goes to the denominator of this pi. And you want to calculate the phi, that's why this theta here in LHS side positive, if go in the RHS side, which is considered as the minus, and this relation will become the phi is equal to pi by 2 minus theta, and the angle between this positive direction of k bar, the angle between this positive direction which is considered k bar and g bar, that is wave vector, wave number, and reciprocal lattice, which is considered as the psi is equal to pi minus phi. Or we have to already calculate here the phi value, which is pi by 2 minus theta, so that relation will become pi by 2 plus theta, which is obtained doing some calculation. And this, the product of vector k bar and vector g bar, that is wave number and reciprocal vector, the relation which is obtained, the kg cos psi, and if we place there the value of the psi, which is pi by 2 plus theta, so that relation will become here the pi by 2 cos of pi by 2 plus theta is equal to minus sin theta, and that k dot g is equal to, if we put there the cos psi value, so which is given as the minus sin theta, and that final relation will become k bar dot g bar is equal to minus kg sin theta. And for using this equation in the Brax-Dybye-Action condition, the equation will be obtained here, that twice k dot g plus g square is equal to 0, and that will be given as the g is equal to twice k sin theta, and we have to already know that here g is the reciprocal lattice vector. And doing this calculation, we have to idea that equation will obtain here the n lambda is equal to 2d sin theta, because the reciprocal lattice vector value g is equal to n into twice pi by d, and this equation or this value which is taken in the equation this 2.7, so that final equation will be obtained here, n lambda is equal to d sin theta. And already see in the last lecture the condition of the Brax-Dybye-Action law, which is considered as the n lambda is equal to d sin theta, where n is equal to integer number n is equal to 1, 2, 3 and so on. And you have to know that the diffraction condition, that is dark band and white band, so which is considered as the integral multiple of lambda, and odd condition, so that is the dark band, which is considered as the odd number integral multiple of lambda by 2. And this condition, the n lambda is equal to d sin theta, which is the Brax-Dybye-Action condition in the reciprocal lattice, which is exactly equivalent to the Brax condition in the direct lattice. So this is the idea about the evolved construction of the reciprocal lattice vector. And new point we have to interesting here to see the experimental method of the X-ray diffraction. Experimental method of the X-ray diffraction. There are two very popular method of the X-ray diffraction, which is considered as the Laue method and powder method. So in about these two method, we have to see here the first method, which is considered as the Laue method. And in this method, a single crystal which is held stationary and beam of white X-ray radiation, which is continuous wavelength considered as 0.2 angstrom unit to 2 angstrom unit, is inclined on it, which is flexed as the glancing angle theta. So that is mean that in this method, your crystal material which is stable, and whatever monochromatic X-ray beam which is incident on this crystal material, and that X-ray radiation which have the wavelength which is considered here 0.2 angstrom unit to 2 angstrom unit range, and if this which is incident on the plane, this monochromatic beam, so their the made of the angle which is considered as the glancing angle, and this angle which is denoted by the theta, and that crystal selects and diffracts the discrete value of the wavelength lambda, and this condition which is satisfied the Bragg's diffraction condition, which is considered as n lambda is equal to 2d sin theta, and this according to this condition, so which is proved the Bragg diffraction condition, we have to calculate whatever observation of this method, so which is doing by calculation whatever result which is obtained from this formula. And Lave in his very first experiment which is used in the radiation of all possible wavelength and allow this radiation which is falls on the stationary crystal, and that crystal which is diffracted X-ray beam and produce the very beautiful pattern of the spot which is confirmed exactly in the internal symmetry of the crystal. So in the last lecture we have to see that how X-ray produce, that you have to know that the mechanism. So one of the filament which is there positive which is their presence which have emit the radiation, that the range of the current which have the low scale we have considered here the 2 milliampere, 1 milliampere to 2 milliampere, and that crystal which have hold the accelerated we have to given the potential which is about the 30,000 30,000 volt to the 35,000 volt, that have the working of the accelerator, and whatever beam radiation which is emitting for this filament which is incident on this material, and that which is going into the core shell of the material or whatever shell, so that electron which is knocked out or excited in the upper shell, and that having a vacancy of the electron, or that is the create a hole pair, and if this vacancy which is need to the fill up, so that upper shell electron which is drop in the or transition in the lower shell electron, and whatever radiation which they are emit, that is considered as this X-ray. And if we consider here in this experiment the whatever X-ray radiation which is whatever possible wavelength allow in the radiation fall on the stationary crystal, and this crystal which is diffracted of the X-ray beam and which is produce a beautiful pattern of the spot which is confirmed exactly the internal symmetry of the crystal. This analysis or result of this experiment which is the aid of the Bragg equation, and this crystal was fixed in the position of the relative to the X-ray beam. So if you do not only watch the value of the d which is fixed, but you also fix the value of the theta, so that is we have to consider that what is the value of the interplanar distance of the crystal which is there, and what is the angle of the incident the X-ray of the plane which is, so that is also set up, and the only possible variable which are the integer n and wavelength lambda, so that result the Lave photograph which is observe the reflection of the correspond to the first order reflection of the certain wavelength. If you see in the figure that transmission of the Lave camera, so see in this, so crystal which is set up in the stable, and X-ray radiation which is incident on this, and if incident on this X-ray radiation on this crystal material, that beam radiation which is diffracted, and this is observed on the photographic plate which is show in here the figure. And now next figure, that diffraction pattern of the photograph which is shown by the Lave is here, and this photograph which is obtained from a single crystal which is simply stratigraphic projection of the planes of the crystal. So this is the method of the X-ray radiation which is incident on a crystal, this crystal which is the stable crystal. Now second method which is see here, the crystal which is rotating crystal method, and in this method the monochromatic beam of X-ray which is incident on a single crystal rotating which is about the fixed axis, and that the variation in the angle theta which is brings different atomic place into position of the reflection of the satisfying the Bragg diffraction condition. So if you know that in first method, so main point which is there, so that interplanar distance of the plane and your theta which is defining or which is know that, and in here second method which your angle which is changing for any point, and this changing of the angle which is satisfy the condition considered as the Bragg diffraction condition, that is L lambda is equal to 2d sin theta. And according to this, whatever producing the spot on the film, the position on the film which is developed indicate the orientation of the crystal at which the spot which is formed, and this data which is obtained from the spot reveals of the information which is structure of the ordinary complex of the molecule. So this is the idea about the experimental method of the X-ray diffraction by the Loewy method, and this Loewy method which is considered as the two types of the method, one of the your crystal which is stable and X-ray which is incident on this, and with whatever observation is there which is recorded, and which is second method which is considered as the rotating crystal method. In this rotating crystal method, your monochromatic beam of X-ray which is incident on this single crystal rotating which is fixed axis, and variation in the theta which is changes, and in this beam of monochromatic X-ray due to the rotation, so the variation of the angle theta, the beam variation in the angle theta which is brings from the different atomic planes of the position of the reflection. And if you see in the figure first 2.7a, that is a camera which is used in the rotating crystal method. So that is, if you see, so a pinhole, and that pinhole which is made up of for allow the X-ray radiation or X-ray radiation entrance in this beam radiation, and the middle of this one of the point is there, so that point which is the used for the holding the specimen, and next of the point which is film is there, so which is record the observation. So these are the rotating crystal method. And next graph which is show here the intensity of distribution from the radiation of the 30 kilo electron volt X-ray with the molybdenum, and this K alpha K beta which is show as the characterization of the X-ray, whatever intensity, what is that K alpha K beta which is shown is here. So this is the endpoints of the characterization of the X-ray method. And this simple rotating crystal X-ray camera which is show in the figure, so the film which is mounted on the beam of the the film which is mounted on the cylindrical holder concentric with the rotating spindle, so which is shown in the middle of this, and this crystal which is used, the crystal specimen which is mounted on this middle of this diagram which is shown in the figure, and the dimension of this crystal which is usually need not be greater than the 1 millimeter. So that is whatever specimen we have to use or thin film we have to use, crystal we have to use, so that dimension we have to need not is greater than 1 millimeter or 1 mm, and the incident X-ray beam which is made nearly the monochromatic by the filter or by the reflection from and the of the rotation of the value of the theta which is satisfy the Bragg's equation. The beam of the planes which is parallel to the vertical rotation axis will be lie in the horizontal plane, and these planes with the other orientation which is will be the reflect layer in the above horizontal plane. So this is the idea about the rotating crystal method in a single crystal which is rotated about the fixed axis, and what is the type of the working of its instrument which is shown in the above. Next method which is shown here, the Debye Scarer method, or this method which is known as the powder method. According to the Laue method, and rotating crystal method can be applied only if the single crystal of reasonable size are available. What is main point? The single crystal which is available in the reasonable size, which is shown in the above point, which is a crystal which is size not greater than the 1 mm. And if however most of the crystalline substance which is naturally available form of the polycrystal, and the method of the preparation of this single crystal which is quite difficult, so that's why we have to use here the X-ray diffraction method which is used for the powder method. And this Debye and Scarer method provides the details about the crystal structure even if the specimen taken for the investigation is in the form of the polycrystal, and that crystalline substance be finally grounded or powdered so that its tiny crystal are randomly oriented. The powder C which is stuck on the hair, that means the gum, and placed in the path of the narrow monochromatic X-ray show which is in the figure. So what? That is the crystalline substance which is rounded or powdered. So that's it is crystal with tiny particle or tiny crystal which is the randomly oriented whatever nature it is, and that powder specimen which is C which is stuck on the hair by means of the gum, or which is placed on the path of the narrow beam of the monochromatic X-ray which is shown in this figure. So we have to see here that monochromatic X-ray which is passing through the slit S1 and S2, and whatever specimen which is there in the figure which is hold on the center of this. So this is the arrangement of the Debye Scarer method which is powder method. So see here the basic principle of this method, which is in this method that the millions of the tiny crystal which is in the powder are randomly oriented, and whatever all possible diffraction planes will be available on the back's reflection, that such reflection will take place from the many set of the parallel planes, and which is lying on the different angles to the incident X-ray beam. So if you see in this method, so each set which is not give only first order reflection but those of higher order as well. So that is, you have to know that the back diffraction condition, that is n lambda is equal to 2d sin theta, and that 2d sin theta, so that n which is equal to 1 2 3, if n is equal to 1 that is first order diffraction, n is equal to that is second order, n is equal to 3 that is third order or higher order. So that is reflection which is of the higher order as well here observed, and since this all orientation which is are equal likely, and reflected rays which will be form a cone which axis lies along the direction of the incident beam. So in this such a cone which is reflected X-ray, which is reflected X-ray, which is see in the figure, that is 2.8b. So that have the X-ray beam which is incident on the specimen which is by C, and surrounding of this film is there, and that whatever nature which is the cone of the diffracted X-ray. So that is there the interactions of a photographic film from a series of the concentric so angular rings, which is this radii of these rings which are recorded, and this film can be used to finding the glancing angle and interplanar spacing of the crystalline substance according to the Bragg's condition. And if we want to see here the experimental arrangement of this method, So consider as the X-ray which is from the tube are passed through the filter F, and it is gives out the monochromatic X-ray by collimated by two fine slit, that is S1 and S2. So if you see in the figure, so that here the X-ray tube, that X-ray tube which is produce the X-ray and pass through this filter F1, and if this monochromatic X-ray which is collimated from this two slit, that is S1 and S2, and then X-ray beam which is falls on this powder specimen which is considered as C, which is stuck on this here. So by means of gum which is shown in this 2.9a figure, that is powder crystal spectrometer, and suspended along the axis which is cylindrical camera which is called by the device carrier camera. So which is shown in here how it is the film which is developed, and this photographic film which is mounted on the round of the inner surface of the camera, and which is almost completely surrounding in this C, so that X-ray which is diffracted up to the 180 degree, and this film which is narrow width, and only part of the circular ring which is registered on this film. So if you see in the figure, the curvature of this arc which is reversed after the angle of the diffraction which is exist by the 90 degree, and if the distance between these symmetrical lines which is stretched of the photograph of the L1, L2, L3, which is by the calculated from the formula of the diameter of the cylindrical film. This L1 upon pi d is equal to 4 theta 1 divided by 360 degree, and if you want to calculate this theta 1, so which is 90 degree divided by pi d. So because if we doing the calculation, this is 4 1s are 4 or 4 9s are 36, so that is given as the theta 1 upon 360 or 90 degree, which is equal to L1 upon pi d. If we doing the arrangement of this equation, so we have to get theta 1 is equal to 90 degree divided by pi d into L1, and 90 degree divided by pi d which is considered as equal to k, that is the constant, and that theta 2 is equal to, if you see as the, if theta 1 is equal to k L1, so we have to consider theta is equal to k L2, and consider as theta 3 is equal to k L3, and using this the value of the theta which is in the Bragg's formula which is interplanar spacing, we have to calculate by the formula of 2d sin theta is equal to n lambda, where n here the constant, and by this diffracting condition twice delta lambda sin theta minus twice d cos theta delta theta, so that is variation of the interplanar distance and angle, so that is equal to tan theta minus tan theta divided by d, and that radius delta theta by delta d will be maximum at theta is equal to 90 degree and theta is equal to 180 degree. So that is, this means by that which is the X-ray which is reflected back along the initial path, and this known as the back reflection. So because of this, if that your theta X-ray which is incident on this specimen and which is backward direction, so this is called as the back reflection, and such back reflection which is cannot be recorded by experimentally, and hence delta theta by delta d which should be large. So in below we want to see here the advantages of the method, this powder method, which is does not require which is large single crystal, and almost any substance can be grinded into the powder, because we have to know that first method, Lave method, which is used as the single crystal method, and this method which is also used in the polycrystal method, or whatever substance which is grinded into the powder by the measuring of the distance between the symmetrical lines and line intensities, which is following information can be obtained. First point which is considered as the crystalline substance can be distinguished from the amorphous, and one because the crystalline substance which is produce lines on a photograph and while amorphous does not. So first that is which is we have to need to distinguish a subject those subject or whatever material which is nature considered as crystal or amorphous or whatever. Next point which is considered as if photographs are made before and after the thermal mechanical treatment of a crystalline substance, so their comparison can be revealed in alternation in the lattice. And with the because you have to know that thermal property, if you act heat or any thermal material, so that change the property of the lattice structure of the crystal. And with the aid of the standard photograph of known chemical compounds of their presence may be detected in unknown mixture, and the size of unit cell and type of the lattice can be determined by the simple cases. And this powder method which has been employed in the study of the microscopic substance like metals, alloy, carbon, fluorescent powder and other forms of the single crystal which are not available. So last of the thanking of you. Now next lecture we want to see here the point of the analysis of the cubic structure by powder method, and introduction of the characterization technique, because we have to know that this chapter which is divided into two main points. First of all the X-ray diffraction, and second with the characterization technique. So next lecture we want to see here the point of the analysis of the cubic structure by the powder method, and in this here use the interplanar distance DHKL which is calculated and according to the n lambda, so that Bragg diffraction condition we have to calculate here the interplanar distance, and ratio of this which is whatever value of the n and what is the interplanar distance, what is the angle, that all value or what is the ratio of the simple cubic structure or whatever, so which is seen in the next lecture. So thanking all of you.